Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story Podcast. This is Getrude Matshe here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And this afternoon, I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating young woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi, my name is Sandhya Porritt. I am based in Melbourne, Australia, very close to Gertrude, and I am 47 years of age, almost 48. I keep saying 48, but I'm not there yet. And the story I want to share with you today is about visibility, especially with women. And one of the things I have come across over the years in my life is that a lot of people will, and women especially, will go, there's aspects of me that I am feeling ashamed of or I feel guilty about, and I want to hide that about me. But the thing is, our story really matters. It makes an impact on our lives, and it makes an impact on who we are as people and how we present in the world as well. Our experiences say a lot about us. So one of the things that I grew up with was when you're doing something, whether, say, for example, you become a doctor, other aspects of who you are does not matter anymore. And you may either feel ashamed or guilty about it. And it's like, those things don't matter. You might have been an artist. You might have been painting and drawing. You might have been singing. But once you become a doctor, none of those things matter. And it's our wealth of experiences that make us who we are. And by not acknowledging and accepting those aspects of ourselves, we're basically cutting off a limb. And so one of the things I've come to realize is bring those aspects of you that you have chosen to hidden, whether it's by societal standards or by whatever you were brought up with, and bring it into the mix. Let go of the fear and shame and the guilt that surrounds it.
Wow. I'll tell you, you've touched on something that affects a lot of women. We hide our true selves.
That's
like
true.
You said, sometimes it could just be the way you're brought up. It could be your culture. I know when I was married, I was a completely different animal to what I am now.
Yeah.
And now I'm literally a full expression of myself because I don't feel that pressure to hide or to not show who I really am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have obviously managed to overcome this. You gave us an amazing presentation the other day during the online summit of your journey. How can other women learn how to do this? If you were to go back to that young woman who broke out of these chains, how did you do it?
I did it the really hard way, in all honesty, because I had no one showing me how to actually be myself, how to be authentically expressed. And I had to learn to do this the hard way for myself. So a really good way for a lot of people, including women here and men, it's irrespective of gender, in terms of visibility, is to stop having other people dictate to you what aspects of your life that you should show. And a really good example of this is growing up for me, there was so much stigma about rape, for example. If you were raped, you don't talk about it. You keep it to yourself. It's taboo. But as society has progressed, we have come to realize that our stories, deeply affect us. And while I was growing up, I had no one whom I could turn to and talk about the things that were affecting me. It's these kinds of stories that have shaped me for who I am. Now, I drew strength from what I have experienced. Other people have not been able to draw strength from it, because for me, I've had a bigger vision, and I've turned around and said, I want to be able to help, all the women in the world that I can, and men as well, irrespective of gender. I want to be able to help people tell their stories and be authentically self-expressed. So I had to stop feeling ashamed of what had happened to me, because growing up in a culture that I did was told, "Oh, rape, go hide. It's
And that's
not a done thing."
that's coming through here is the person who's the victim is made to feel shame for something that happened to them.
Yes.
And it's so ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And the
But
more we hear
that's
these
the
stories,
way society has been, Gertrude. If you think about it, over the eons, the centuries that we have lived, is that the victim has always been perpetrated as being the one who is at fault, and therefore needs to feel guilt about their own existence. Rape is just one of, this is an extreme that I'm going to in terms of being expressed. I was speaking to a gentleman earlier today, and he is stepping forward in his business and he's stepping up, and he wants to make an impact helping people. And one of the things, while I was speaking to him, I realized, I'd noticed things about people. That's why I've always been a really great coach, is that there's these hidden aspects or hidden stories of self that people don't want to talk about, because they think, it doesn't matter. I'm this person now, therefore that doesn't matter. And what came up was that he has a wealth of experience having been a police officer. He's now in mental wellness. And I thought, hang on, you've got a great niche here. Being, you've able to relate to people in the armed forces who require assistance. Why not actually be there, be available for that particular group of people? And this was an aspect that he did not see. Now, he said to me, "Oh, yeah, I spoke to a friend the other day, and for 15 years, they have not known that I used to be a police officer." And I'm like,
wow.
well, and this is what I'm talking about. We think that there are aspects of ourselves that we need to hide or don't need to show because they are no longer relevant to who we are and what makes us. However, this is very relevant. No different to a woman who has been a home carer for her children. There's so many skills and craft that goes into creating that experience of being that carer. And we think that, it's not relevant. But here's the thing, you can you become organized. I mean, I don't know any woman who has looked after their child from home has not learned how to organize things, be on time, to multitask, to be able to think more than one level deep and bring all those different aspects and go, boom. I mean, really, women who have had children are great at being event organizers, planning something, whether it's birthday parties or weddings or whatever it is. I mean, put them in the role of being an events manager, boom, they'll get it done really quickly.
That's true. That is so true. Wow. Now, what about that person who wants to break out and be a full expression of themselves? Give us a step-by-step process, because some people need to have a method. They need to say, okay, this is where I start. This is what I do next.
I think the very first thing you need to do is make a list of everything you have ever done in your life, even the things that you feel afraid to share.
Yes.
Whether I met somebody who, at one stage of her life, had been a stripper. And so an exotic dancer, stripper, whatever you want to call it. And she was very ashamed of that aspect of herself and said, I don't want to share this with people. And I said, honey, you're not the only person who has done stripping for a living or anything like that. And you would have learned skills, you would have learned how to navigate in an arena where your body was being scrutinized and looked at, and You would have had to let go of a whole lot of inhibitions, and the role that she was stepping into was being a therapist for women being comfortable with their bodies. And I said, what a great story to actually share.
Wow.
Don't hide that.
Yeah.
Don't hide the fact that you have had this experience and being comfortable in your own body, because when you're up on stage, you got to deflect things. You got to deflect negative views, negative judgments, all of that stuff. And and you got to be comfortable with who you are. And this is something that I've done in terms of being up on stage. But here's someone who was taking their clothes off for a living and now stepping into the role of, explaining to women or helping women being comfortable with who they are, with the body shape, size, whatever it is that they have. And I thought, hang on, this story is so important. It's important for you to be able to share this, to show, hey, I have been to the absolute extreme here, but going forward, I've been able to learn from this experience. And by sharing this story, I can say, hey, if I can get up in front of hundreds of men and women and be completely naked and feel comfortable, well, yeah, I can actually help you be the person you want to be in this particular area or aspect of your life. How about someone here who has perhaps committed a crime? Perhaps when they're younger, they did some stealing and stuff, maybe something else. People do change. It's not like people don't change. If you have made the effort to change, then yes, you're changing. You have a story to tell. And it's not something that you need to feel ashamed of. Now, I mean, if you're still going around saying being a murderer or something like that, it might be different. I don't know. But I know for those people who have made a concerted effort to better themselves, better their lives, and to have a positive impact on people around them, then yes, your story is important, because people need to know, oh, hang on, I used to steal for a living, or I have stolen something, but I changed. I changed who I am by looking back, reflecting, seeking help, and then turning my life around and making a difference. There's so many people in this world who have had or done things that they can feel guilty and ashamed of. But those people have also made a concerted effort to change who they are, change what they do, and change the impact that they have on the people around them. So why not take that story and go, this is where I was at. This is where I started from. I'm here now. And this is where I'd like to go. I'd like to make that positive change. I'd like to make that positive difference in somebody else's life. Social work is really great for something like that as well. So these are the kinds of things. Yeah. So make a list. First and foremost, make that list and say, okay, what are the things about me that I really like? What are the things about me that I really don't like? But, these are my skills. How can I hone in on this? This is where I started from.
And also, one of the things that you really touched on is how transferable are those skills? Where else can you apply them and use the same skills for good?
Okay, so I have touched on a little bit of, for example, the lady that was a stripper, but women who, for example, and I say this a lot because there's a lot of women who are moms who forget that as they're going into the workforce again, that they have learned skills as parents, as moms, looking after their children. And these skills are actually transferable in the new organization or the organization that they're going back to as they move forward. And so again, this is an arena where you can write down a list, write down everything that you did. I mean, when I realized that as a parent, I had learned so many different skills, I started writing them down. I became very organized. I became somebody who could make things happen within a period of time. So part of that is, organization and that management. Also became very good at micromanaging and delegating work as well. I mean, I got my kids to do housework and stuff while I went and did other things that, were really important that they could not do at a younger age, where they were sweeping and mopping. So I was delegating work so that I could focus on the things that were really important, like cooking a meal. No, they couldn't cook a meal. I could cook a meal. You go sweep, you go mop, you go vacuum, you go wipe down the windows. Mommy's going to make a meal for us tonight. But I also taught them how to cook. So there's step-by-step methodology there on what to do, what not to do. Occupational stuff like making aware of hazards in the workplace or in the kitchen. You've got fire, you've got knives, you've got hot water, etc. It's just like, what goes with what doesn't? You can't leave a chicken out. It will, you'll end up killing yourself. So there's health and well-being and all those different aspects as well. So it's like you're bringing all those different mixes in that you don't realize. You go, wow.
Yes.
All these skills. What about driving under pressure? Being like the soccer mom. I'm using that like the soccer mom. I was more tennis and ballet and all that, and singing. And it's, being able to get somewhere on time, navigational skills like through the roof, all of that stuff. And then at the same time, empowerment, more than anything, empowerment. Now, you would not turn around and say to your child who is just beginning to learn to walk, yeah, pretty shit at that.
No.
Encouragement, that those are skills, listening skills. We call these soft skills, but really they are absolutely essential in our lives. Listening skills, soothing skills, encouraging your child to do better at something, or even encouraging them to go forward if they want to do something and they want to paint and draw, and you turn around and go, yeah, sure, making that happen for them on some level. But there you are, you're in the background, but you've assisted them in being able to do that. So how is that transferable, you say, to employment? Well, what if you actually recognize one of your co-workers, your colleagues' potential in a particular area, and then you encourage them to go for it, to build that skill, to learn something, perhaps go back to uni, or, to be able to step up in a leadership role. So these are all skills that are, highly transferable, and we don't realize how much until we have somebody to tell us. Now, I didn't have somebody telling me this. I had to work a lot of these things out for myself. That's the great thing about being a coach, was I was also coaching myself. And so I started learning a lot more things about myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so parting thought, if there was somebody online right now who's help, how can they get hold of you? What is your best point of contact?
LinkedIn is the best point of contact for me right now. I don't have a website. I am changing how I've been doing things. I have gone from one-on-one coaching and changing that to broadening how I impact people. So I've got that all set up. I still coach people one-to-one. So LinkedIn is my best place for you to be able to message me, to get a hold of me. Yes, I do still work with people one-on-one, but I'm also working more so with organizations and helping people in business as well as they move forward and step forward. So that's the best point of contact for me right now.
Fantastic. So if anybody out there is seeking to become a full expression of who you are, please connect. I have the LinkedIn profile message running at the bottom of the screen, or just Google your name and they will find you. But thank you so much again for coming online and sharing your wisdom with us. It's always inspiring when you meet somebody who has crossed the line that you're trying to cross, and you don't have to do it the hard way, like you said. Get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, get some support. It can be done. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
do that. And thank you so much, Gertrude. I really appreciate you assisting me in this as well. And anyone out there, please, yes, do contact me. I'm happy to help. And, I'm available right now. So thank you
Wonderful.
again. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody. I'll be back again tomorrow with yet another amazing guest. Have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.